got Alexandre Pantoja versus Josh Van. I honestly feel like this matchup is a bit disrespectful to Alexandre Pantoja. I will say it feels a bit disrespectful. I just don't think Josh Van's there yet, man. I really don't think this line is wide enough. I don't know what warrants this. I get Josh Van's been on a crazy run, and it's so impressive. You look 8-1 in the UFC, like, holy shit, Josh Van's unstoppable. He ain't fought Pantoja, though, man. Pantoja's a different animal, dude. Pantoja's an absolute beast. This is kind of like the Tatsuro, Taira, and Brandon Moreno. You compare these guys' resumes. Although the Brandon Royval fight was a very good fight, you look at that fight, you watch it back, he arguably could have lost the fight. He just won it in the last 30 seconds with that last second knockdown over Royval. Besides that, let's say he lost that fight, he wouldn't be here. He wouldn't be here. I just don't know how anyone can pick Josh Van in the spot. His grappling is just... The striking, I totally get it. I think Josh Van's cardio, elite. Striking, very high level. It's just the grappling. There's a major skill gap here. Pantoja is an elite grappler, and Josh Van is not there. The gap between these two and the grappling is here. The difference between the two of them in terms of the striking is probably here. So I think the grappling difference is going to be way too much for Josh Van to handle. I don't know, though. It'll be interesting to see. Let's say Josh Van is able to survive the early rounds. Maybe rounds 1, 2, maybe even 3. He's not getting finished, but he's able to survive, go long. I don't worry about his cardio. Whereas Pantoja, we have seen him slow down a bit as fights go on. He has that iron chin on him. He has a granite chin, so we're not seeing him get finished. I could see, if this were to go to the scorecards, I could see this looking a lot closer. Like, I could see this being a 48-47. I could totally see that. Don't get me wrong. I could see Josh Van winning rounds 4 and 5, maybe Pantoja 1 through 3. That would make a lot of sense to me. I just feel like the grappling in terms of the raw submission threat from Alexandre Pantoja is just too much for Josh Van. I mean, we see Pantoja, he's been able to submit guys who have a lot more UFC experience at a higher level. Guys like Karine France. Pantoja just kind of had his way on the ground. I mean, when did he submit him? The second round, I believe, third round there. Kai Asakura, that's a different kind of exception there. I mean, we've seen his holes in his grappling have been a lot more than we thought they were. So the second round submission there. But even then, Steve Erceg, yeah, I guess honestly, you could argue the Steve Erceg fight, it is what it is about that one. Brandon Royval, Moreno, the split. I could get where you could say, okay, well, Josh Van has that elite cardio. He's able to get back up pretty decently well. If Pantoja can't take him down and control him, it could be a problem. I'm trying to play devil's advocate and try to think of a good argument for Josh Van. I just can't see it. I just think the overwhelming grappling deficiency, or at least difference in skill, is going to be the real difference in this fight. I think Pantoja probably gets done inside the distance. I think it most likely is a submission, and I just don't think Josh Van's ready yet. 24 years old. Josh Van would have to be a generational talent. Imagine, if he beats Pantoja, Josh Van would have to be a generational talent. 24 years old, beating arguably the GOAT of the division. How does that happen? It's not going to happen. Pantoja likely submits his ass, maybe a decision. I feel like submission is the most likely. Hell, we've seen Josh Van knocked out. Maybe Pantoja cracks his ass. Anything could happen. I feel like Pantoja's the pretty easy spot to pick here in this spot, or in this fight. I just don't really see Josh Van being able to do it unless maybe he's able to out-cardio Pantoja and win the 4th and 5th round, and maybe 2 judges give him the 3rd. Pantoja should win the spot. Submission's very likely. It's got to be the pick. Pretty clear for your boy. Pantoja should definitely get the job done here.